All right, let's get right into it. Docusign just dropped their latest earnings report, and on the surface, yeah, the numbers look good. But if you dig just a little deeper, you'll see this isn't just about financials. It's about a huge strategic bet the company is making on artificial intelligence. And the wild part? It looks like that bet is already starting to pay off. So we're going to break down what's really going on here.
So here's how we're going to unpack this whole thing. First, we got to understand the problem they're trying to solve, why agreements are such a mess. Then we'll look at their big AI-powered solution. After that, it's time for the report card. We'll dive into the Q2 numbers and see if the strategy is actually working. Then we'll listen in on what Wall Street analysts were asking, because that's where the real insights are. And finally, we'll talk about what this all means for the future. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. The problem. Why does a company like Docusign feel the need to completely reinvent how businesses handle contracts?
Well, because for most companies out there, this is what managing agreements actually looks like. It's pure chaos. It's not a single clean process. It's this tangled web of emails, shared drives, approvals, and different versions of the same document. Everything is scattered across different systems, and that chaos leads to some really serious problems, like missed deadlines, hidden risks, and delayed revenue. It really just boils down to these three words. The whole process is fragmented. The tools are totally disconnected from each other. And because of that, all the valuable data locked inside those agreements is completely underleveraged. The contracts basically become what DocuSign calls dumb, flat files. They're just sitting in a digital filing cabinet collecting dust when they're actually full of incredibly valuable info that nobody can get to.
So, how do you fix a mess that big? Well, this brings us to DocuSign's big play, their AI answer. They're trying to create an entirely new category of software they call Intelligent Agreement Management, or IAM for short. So what exactly is IAM? The simplest way to think about it is a platform that uses AI to handle the entire life of a contract from start to finish. The whole point is to take those dumb, static documents and turn them into living, breathing data assets that you can actually use. You know, it's like turning that dusty, disorganized filing cabinet into a smart, self-organizing database that can tell you anything you need to know instantly.
And here's a look at the whole system. You've got the DocuSign IAM platform right at the center. But the real brains of the operation, the thing powering everything, is the DocuSign Iris AI engine. That engine is what fuels all the tools, like Navigator, which is basically a smart central library for all your contracts, and Maestro, which automates all the complex workflows. The whole thing is designed to handle every single step.
Okay, the vision sounds impressive, but talk is cheap, right? Is this new strategy actually translating into real results? Well, let's check the Q2 report card, which the CEO himself called an outstanding quarter.
First up, the headline number. Total revenue hit $801 million. That's up a very solid 9% from last year, and it blew past what analysts were expecting. This right here shows you the core business is still incredibly strong.
But this is where things get really interesting. Billings, which is a great indicator of future revenue, grew by an incredible 13%. The company said this was one of their strongest growth quarters in the last 2 years. That's a huge signal that their momentum is picking up speed.
And on top of all that, it turns out their existing customers aren't just sticking around, they're actually spending more money. Their dollar net retention ticked up to 102%. That means, on average, their customers spent 2% more than they did last year. It's just more proof that the customer base is healthy and they're buying into this bigger vision. You can see here that the 9% growth in Q2 wasn't just some random fluke. It's a clear acceleration from the 7% and 8% growth we were seeing in the quarters before. The trend line is definitely pointing up. And the jump in billings is even more dramatic. The CFO basically said this was a perfect storm of good news. It was driven by strong customer demand, more people renewing their contracts early, and a deliberate push to get customers on annual plans. It's a really powerful signal of business health. Now, the prepared remarks are one thing, but the real juicy details, the unscripted insights, almost always come out during the Q&A with the financial analysts. So, let's go inside the call. This was pretty much the question on everyone's mind. Josh Baer from Morgan Stanley just cut right to the chase. Is this new IAM platform actually making you guys more money? Is it adding to your growth? And if so, by how much? And the CEO's answer was surprisingly direct. He said, yes, IAM is a critical factor in their growth acceleration.
And then he dropped this little bombshell. They expect IAM to make up a low double-digit percentage of their entire business by the end of the year. For a platform that's brand new, that is lightning fast adoption. He also added that customers see a meaningful expansion in what they spend when they move to the new platform.
And they brought the receipts to prove it. It's not just talk. IAM deals are already making up a bigger slice of the pie. Get this, more than half of their enterprise sales reps, the people selling to the biggest companies in the world, have already closed at least one IAM deal. The average size of those deals is going up. And maybe the most telling stat of all, customers have uploaded 150% more documents into the AI platform in just the last 6 months. People are actually using this stuff.
So let's pull back and look at the big picture. What does all of this really mean for Docusign, and honestly, for the future of how business gets done? If you take away just one thing from this whole report, it has to be this. Docusign is fundamentally changing its identity. For years, they've been the best in the world at one thing, eSignature. Now they're shifting from being a single product company to being an end-to-end AI platform that makes your agreements intelligent. And that leaves us with a pretty mind-bending question to think about. There are over 1 billion users on Docusign's platform. So what happens when every single one of those contracts, every sales agreement, every NDA, every lease, stops being a static file and becomes a source of smart, actionable data? That's the massive, multi-trillion-dollar future that Docusign is betting its entire company on.